Hey people. So, today, we're gonna do something a little bit fun, something a little bit cool. We're gonna go ahead and work on painting some miniatures. That'll be fun and nerdy and crap that no one cares about, but something I enjoy a good bit, as embarrassing as that sounds. Now, I've already gone through a lot of the hardship of, well, assembling, trimming, and all that kind of stuff for a big old model, that being Nagash from Age of Sigmar. He's a really cool model, super big, a lot of complex little pieces. We did explore some blending in there between the spirits and the robes, and actually, you know what, instead of just talking about it, let's go ahead and just show you. So, I've already gone through the trouble of, well, for lack of a better word, priming this piece. So, that is this little guy right here. Now, this is the bottom section of the robe. It is undeniably the part that is, well, the largest. Now, on this piece right here, we have a whole lot that we can work on. We have the ghosts and spectral stuff right here. We even have these little books right here, too. A little bit hard to make out in the webcam. But there we go. And then we have the robe itself here on the back. We have a sword scabbard. Now I assembled Nagash, and you should grab his body right over here. Yeah, here we go. Assembled Nagash with the sword setup. And did sub-assembly, so he doesn't have his head right now, and obviously he's not in the robe itself, not a big shock. But the reason for that is it's going to make it a lot easier to paint all those little hard details and such. So, what we're going to be doing tonight is we're going to be working mostly on the ghosts and the robes and such. Now, on the base, as you can see, I have primed the Nagash proper model, this body right here, pure black, because honestly a lot of the colors are really dark, and I'm going to be working on the flesh and stuff like that, and if you miss a spot, priming it in black is actually fantastic, because then it's just shadows. It's beautiful, it's perfect, you don't have to worry about it. For something like this, though, I actually had to prime it in this color because it's going to be a little bit hard to make out on the camera. But if you look very closely at the bottom, you can see a lot of little cracks and crackles and stuff like that at the bottom of the base there. I used a texture paint for this. Purpose behind this is I wanted to make Nagash stand out versus any of the other death models I'm going to be working on. For them, I'm going to have them have a much more traditional base, dirt, rocks, so on. But for Nagash, I wanted to do something special because he's the god of death. He's a big boy, physically, and also from a lore perspective too. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to paint the crackle, the textured base here, in a very similar fashion. I'm going to be painting the ghosts, make it look like he's kind of crossing over this sort of ghostly terrain. That way, no matter what armor I'm playing him, he stands on his own as this very unique, very imposing figure. So, that's what we're going to be working on tonight. Now, beyond just that, the way that I primed this boy is I primed him in Wraithbone. Wraithbone is a pretty good spray. I live in a very humid hellhole, so a lot of other acrylic primers, those suckers will clog up super bad in any given day just because of how humid and hot it is. The Wraithbone spray itself is actually really good because that little critter will apply very evenly with just a good shake. Maybe a little bit of heating that you have to do. Good trick, by the way, for anyone who's curious. If you ever find yourself in a situation where you have problems getting a good prime on your miniatures, and you're thinking that there might be a temperature problem there, because for most primers they want it to be between about 45 to 77 degrees. Go ahead and take a big old container, fill it up with water, hot water, pop it in the microwave for a little bit just to heat it up even more, or boiling water too. Hey, if you want to, go for it, that's you. And then just take the can, put it in there, let it sit there for about maybe 10-15 minutes. That way, if it's really hot, you got it. You're kind of equating the temperature inside with the temperature outside. And that makes the whole adherence just a whole lot better. If it's cold, you might, I'm not saying to spray stuff inside your home, but hey, it's an option. Set up some boxes, well-ventilated area, very important, and you should be okay. So, left, we're going to play about primers. We're going to be working on this boy right here. We're working on the ghosts, we're working on the robe, and just experimenting, seeing what looks good. Now, in terms of the paint scheme itself that I'm going to be doing, I'm actually going to be going for Game Workshop's own kind of tutorial on how to paint it. Not to say that I haven't experimented with stuff in the past, I have, but honestly, I just really like the way it looks. It looks, well, good. It's great. So, enough rambling. Let's get started. Now, in terms of brushes I'm going to be using, since I'm going to be working on some prototyping first, prototyping basically means just testing out colors, seeing how they compare, how they contrast, all that kind of stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be using this brush right here. This is a Master's Touch round number 2. This is probably my favorite brush. It is great in all situations. It's got a good tip, great well, has tons of paint, just has the right balance between finesse and volume. It's really good. Regrettably, I actually damaged the tip a little bit here by setting it up wrong after I got done with the painting session, so just something to bear in mind. If you're ever hanging your brushes upside down, which is kind of a recommended way to do it, just so that way the paint doesn't slip into the ferrule and ruin the brush, make sure it's not actually touching anything while it's doing that. That's a recipe for, well, disaster. But for what we're doing with this little guy tonight, it's not going to be a problem. I also have a much larger, much crappier flat brush that I can use for painting larger surfaces, so when we get to the robes, that's actually going to be really good, getting a lot of that surface area done. And then beyond that, I actually, on my birthday, my roommate, the sweet boy that he is, got me some Wizard Newtons. So we have a Series 7 Wizards in size 0 brush right here. This thing is really great for extremely fine details. I'm actually always just a little bit intimidated using it because I don't want to mess it up or ruin it, because sometimes I'm a little bit rough with my brushes, and the Wizard Newtons are just a smidge expensive. Oh well, I'm not gonna worry about it. We're gonna save this little critter for later. Mostly on this little guy. On the back of his scabbard here, you can actually see, let's use the black tips, it's going to show up a little bit better. There are some stitchings along the back of the scabbard. That's going to be really, this little critter is going to be really good for picking up those little details, but that's much further down the road. So, let's go ahead and start off. Also, these gloves are really nice. My hands are gross because I can work on my hands, so I'm wearing these as a way to kind of make sure I don't have to get like a manicure or anything like that, because otherwise it's just going to be a bunch of like little pieces of skin and stuff like that that come off your fingernails. It's just, ugh, no one wants to deal with that. Alright, so let us start off. Now, we got 2 colors I'm going to be working with as a base coat for the spirits and such, and then we are going to have 2 colors we're going to experiment with a little bit. Now, the 2 colors of the base coat themselves are going to be Celeste Gray, kind of the way that Games Workshop and their own tutorial videos show how you want to work on spirits and stuff, is to base coat them with Celeste Gray and then hit them with there's the next one. Once my finger is out of the way, Nihilak Oxide. Hit those 2 and kind of move on from there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose just a section of the ghosts, maybe like this back body part section, just something that if I mess up on, it's not too hard to just rebase it and make it look good. So I'm going to try that classic combination. Then I'm also going to try with some Hex Flame Wraith. Fun story about this little guy and its history. It's always good to have the caps on for exactly that reason. Fun little story about this little critter right here is a lot of people actually took the Nihilak Oxide and introduced some green wash and stuff like that to it. That way they can get a bit more of like a kind of spooky, ethereal kind of green look to it. Actually, let me adjust the camera a little bit since it's actually a smidge off. Yeah, there we go. Just first time experimenting with a webcam, everybody. It might be a little bit of troubleshooting errors, but hey, it's okay. So they wanted to make a bit more of a green, sort of spooky kind of color for ghosts and stuff like that. So that's why this little critter has come to be. So these are the two deeper colors. This is one of the base coats. Now the other base coat, probably not a huge surprise given what we're looking at, is Wraithbone proper. This has a bit more of like a bony kind of look to it, and actually I will say, in case you're ever trying to paint a skeleton or bone of any sort, Wraithbone with the skeleton horde contrast paint on top is phenomenal. It is basically just bone in a bottle. It does all the shading, it gives it a nice good little tint and stuff like that. It's really earnestly fantastic. I would say Wraithbone, skeleton horde, and then dry brush some Screaming Skull or just another kind of creamy eggish white color on top of it, and you're gold, man. You're looking great. I'm going to be doing the bones on Nagash since he is the skeleton a little bit differently than how you would do like a basic skeleton or even, hey, look at that. We got ourselves an Osieric Bone Reaper right there. Hey, that's a boy. Irritable Reaper skeletons themselves. Honestly, their models just look really, really cool, and I'm all about them personally. Lore's also kind of fun, but I'm kind of going on a bit of a tangent there. No, instead, for these boys, since they're not super important, I was just going to do Wraithbone, Skeleton Horde, a little bit of dry brush of Screaming Skull on top, then maybe use a couple other colors to kind of darken down the bone and stuff like that, because they're skeleton conglomerates, right? So, you know, make it look a little bit neat, but that's a very basic boy. Not for Nagash. Nagash we're going to do a little bit different. We're going to do, well, I'll save it for later. That's off topic. But right now, though, we're going to work on these boys. So, starting off, we're going to go ahead and grab our wet palette. This is just how tall he is. Our wet palette. This thing is... that is actually not the right wet palette. That is my old wet palette. Whoops. I actually had one because... actually, you know what? This is a good time to even just show it off. Here's what happens if you don't take care of your wet palette. Look at that. Look at how that sponge ended up. Ugh, it's all gross and moldy. I'm just going to toss this thing out, honestly. I should have done that a while ago. But no, we're not going to worry about that right now. That's something for tomorrow me to do. Let me go ahead and go grab the correct wet palette. What's up? Hey, we're back. There we go. So, got the right one. Of course, I say that the sponge is actually a little bit out of place. That's fine. Alright. This is what a good healthy sponge is supposed to look like. You see some of these discolorations and stuff like that in there? Don't worry, that's fine. That's actually just paint. So it's fine. Alright. So, got our wet palettes. Set that little critter right down over here. Right next to the microphone, so that way we get that good paintbrush on sponge ASMR. Also, for those wet palettes themselves, you can actually get them on Amazon for like $10. Super cheap, super nice. They come with their own paper, and the paper's okay. But what I did is I actually just took some parchment paper, just cut it out into a bunch of sections, and I found a lot more success with those. I'm actually very fond with how those have ended up. But let's go ahead and wet our brush. And then, you know what I did? I did not get any paper towels to actually dry off the brush. One sec, let me go grab that too. Alright, we're back. Got it. This is it right here. It's actually a shop vac towel. I prefer them over paper towels just because they're a little bit more absorbent. And often enough whenever I'm trying to do blends or shades or glazes, washes and such, I find it a lot more useful to kind of make sure I have all the excess paint and material off the brush. Otherwise I can run everywhere and get kind of crazy and just end up being a mess and ruin some work. So, get some water cup sound action in there. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now, super important trick to do whenever you're working on paints is want to make sure you give it a good shake first. Even this one right here is looking pretty whole, consistent. There's not really any sort of like obvious signs that the pigment's clumped up. Still want to give it a good shake because you want as consistent a coverage as possible between numerous different, well, painting sessions. The more consistent you can get it, the better. So, we are going to shake this boy up. Maybe you can even hear my hand right next to the microphone just to get a little bit of that kind of paint slashing action in there. Let's move away the wraith bone. Take off the lid to the wet palette. Let's put everything right now. That's a good spot. Alright, it's all shooken up. Pop the lid. Yeah, there you go, baby boy. Okay. So let's grab a good, decent dollop. Not a huge amount, not a little amount. We're looking to use some of this, but we're not going to go nuts of it just yet because we're going to experiment and see how those different styles are looking. Alright. So, let's go ahead and close the lid and make sure the paint doesn't dry out. Make sure it is fully secure, like this. Perfect. Okay. And just so you can see what it looks like on the wet palettes. There it is, right there. Just a small little dollop. Nothing too much, nothing too little. Alright, so looking at this big old boy, got tons of spots. I think we're gonna go ahead and work on this spot right here. I'm gonna point into it with my brush. 3 dimensions, and it'll look like that. This will be a good spot because it's very obvious and noticeable, and it'll be probably a good spot to show up on the camera. So what we're gonna do is very simply, we're gonna paint 2 sections on this, get a little bit into the recess too, just to see how that looks, because the Nihilach Oxide and the Hex Flame Wraith likes to sink into recesses, since it's basically a wash. And we want to see how that looks. We're not looking for how it looks over just plain simply a flat surface. We want to see how it plays with the depths and stuff like that, because we can use that for recess shading and stuff like that. Make it look nice and dark in certain areas and then highlight other areas with a brighter color to make a real pop in that contrast. So that's what we're going for. So we got a good section right here painted like that. And now, since we're gonna probably have all that be just one color, since it's a good amount of texture right there, let us grab another section. Let's say this boy right here. This boy right here, underneath the ghost head. Let's go ahead and see how that looks. Or actually, you know what? The ghost head's not a bad spot either. There's tons of recesses right there. But just to maintain some consistency, let's go ahead and paint this section. I'm going to try to get it within the camera so you guys can see it a little bit better. There we go. Yeah, let's get it right there. Okay. Got a high ridge right here. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Nice. Alright. I was going to go ahead and look underneath the underside as well. Okay. It's looking to be pretty decently even coat. Cool. Ta-da! These gloves do feel nice and they have a pretty good tactile feeling, but they're also very smooth, so I just dropped the brush there, just like I did those paint bottles before. This is probably a recipe for disaster, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I'm going to go ahead and clean off our brush. And actually, since I have the AC output in the same room, and we're not using any paints right now, we're going to be using some washers, I am going to resecure the lid onto the wet palette, make sure it doesn't dry out. Also gives that nice little clamp sound in there too. Is this a jazz rendition of the birthday song? I found this playlist, and I thought, like, hey, jazz sounds like a good idea. So I guess we're just doing jazzy birthdays. I'm all for it. It's nice. It's silly. Let's rock it, man. Alrighty. So, first off, we're going to go ahead and experiment with the nail oxide. We're going to do this in 2 sections. We're going to do it on the gray right down here. There we go. And then we're also going to work a little bit on the wraithbone color. I think maybe right here-ish. That should show up pretty well. Experiment with those two. Then we're going to work on the Neoholic or the Hex Flame frame. Hex Wraith Flame? Oh my goodness. Hex Wraith Flame. Just like the unit. Hex Wave Flames. Cool. Alright. So, this thing is technically what's called a technical paint, so those are a little bit more weird and gimmicky kind of paints. They can be anything from really glossy, varnishy kind of paints, like the kind of gemstone stuff, or Blood for the Blood God, actually. That's earnestly number one, a fantastic tool to have in your repertoire. It makes blood look really good, really shiny, really gross and visceral. And it also, since it's like a varnish, it protects itself, basically. To stuff that's like the texture paint that I applied to the base of Nagash here. So, we want to make sure we get this guy shooken up a lot, because often enough sediment can stick to the bottom of the pots, and like we said before, we want consistency. So, alright, that's looking, that's feeling about good. I'm seeing that there's no real discoloration or anything like that going on in the pot right now, which is perfect. Let's go a couple pats. Yeah, there we go. Make sure we shake everything loose. Oh, these gloves. Oh, these gloves. It's a good thing I had the lid closed. Again, we're flirting with disaster, everybody, but it's okay. That bridge will be crossed when we get there. Okay, there we go. Got the paint bottle right there. Make sure the brush is wet. Let's draw it to a 0.2 so we have some good control over it. Nice. There we go. Okay. So, pop the tab open a little bit, and let's just go for right into the pot. Make sure we got a good helping. Now, right now we're still in the prototyping phase. Once we go with the full-blown base coating, once we know what we're going to do, we're going to be a lot more messy with this, but for right now, we're just experimenting. Alright, so, got the section right over here, and let's apply it, see how it looks. Okay. Alright. Now you're just seeing the back of the robe right now. Angle's a little bit difficult because he's just such a big boy. There we go. Nice. Okay. So we got that section looking good. Now let us go ahead and work on this top section right here. You can see the top left-hand corner. I'm gonna go over another tip. Okay. Having a little bit loaded up on the brush is actually totally fine. And now, let us get this section right here. Alright. Pull this little boy back a little bit. Get that side right there. Okay. Nice. Alright. That's looking pretty decent. So, let's go ahead and close the lid on the pot here. There we go. Clean off the brush so we don't contaminate any of your paints with this. Dry off the excess water into that shop vac towel. And while that's drying, we're going to go ahead and apply the Hex Wraith Flame. So, like before, we're going to shake this up. Now I have noticed with the Hex Wraith Flame, it likes to separate real bad. So you can see like a very clear sort of distillation between the green and kind of this lighter blue shade, kind of even after the formula for this boy. So, me moving it away from my typical work area to this current work area, because this one's way better lit. Normally I have this little headlamp thing that I wear just because it's a good way to get a good source of light in my normal spot. We're doing the birthday song again? Yeah? Alright. Just need to celebrate again, I guess. Oh boy. Alright. Sick. There we go, nice. Okay. Now, let us go ahead and get a good seep and heap that Hex Wraith Flame. For this one, we're going to go ahead and paint it on the Wraithbone, I'd say right here. Oh, let's go ahead and get that right there. Oh yeah, that's a very strong green. Really strong green. Granted, it's still wet, and paints have a tendency to kind of darken down after they dry a little bit, so we're definitely going to need to give this a sec. Okay, there we go. And now we need to go to the intersection of the Ultimate Gray, right down over here. There we go. Yeah. Okay. And that's a bit more interesting. It's a lot more subdued on the Ultimate Gray than it was on the Wraithbone. The Wraithbone was like super strong. That's looking a lot better. Okay. Kind of dig Joan on that a little bit. Make sure we get the inside as well, just for full coverage. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Alrighty. Now, let's go ahead and close up this bottle. Make sure we get a good firm grip on it because of how smooth these gloves are. Beautiful. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can hear that, huh? Yeah, nice. Nice. Alright. So normally speaking, we want to get these little guys between 10 to 15 minutes to fully dry, although I do have the AC blowing directly from that direction over there, so yeah, it's going to be drying decently quick. I think in the internum, while we're waiting for that to dry, because we want to make sure we compare how those look, in that internum point, let us go ahead and actually work on the main body Nagash. Or, ooh, actually, you know what? Now let's stick to one piece at a time. Make sure we're doing this efficiently. What instead we're going to do is work on these ropes. Although, now that I think about it, there's a good chance that the nail lock oxide will, or the Hex Wraith Flame, will spill onto the robe and we'll have to touch it up again later. That would be obnoxious. Stay focused or be smart. Let's be smart. So, here we go. Got a body of Nagash right here, which I have not adhered to anything to help with the paint process, which I know is a faux pas. I'm sorry. Didn't have anything set up for this little guy. I'm gonna do this a little bit more dirty and grimy, but it'll be good. It'll be okay. So what we're gonna do, I know I had it around here somewhere. I might have to actually go digging for it like a bit of a nerd. Where's that little boy? Got like a big old thing of paints right next to me. Looking for Redcar's Flesh, since that's actually going to be going on a lot of Nagash. We're going to be going in the midsection right here. We're going on a lot of the bone details as well, so I think we do that. Ah, there we go. Found it. Ooh, yeah. So actually, this is a good time to show everybody. This right here is a bottle of Wrecker Flesh. Now, if you look at the top, that's kind of the hue it's supposed to look. But if you look at the pot itself, well then, that's not right. What about if we look at the bottom? Uh-oh. Hey, there it is. It's slinking around. This is what happens when the paints aren't mixed. This is totally normal. This is totally fine. This happens all the time. This is why we shake our pots. So, yeah. Shaking that boy. Look at that. Just a couple of shakes. Look at that color already returned. We're going to go for a little bit longer. Because again, consistency. That's what we are looking for. Consistency. Okay, cool. That's looking good. Let's pop open the old wood pallets. Pop open the bottle of Wrecker Flesh right here. Beautiful. Get some water on the brush just to help lubricate it. Make sure that the paint doesn't get stuck in the bristles too much. Now, we're going to be doing a lot of painting with this color. So let's get a good, decent dollop onto the wet palettes. Nice, there we go. That should be more than enough. Now, the way that Games Workshop showed their tutorial on how to paint Nagash, they actually applied Wrecker Flesh not only for kind of like this mummified flesh, which you can't really see in Nagash's body because it's pure black and it's hard to kind of notice that detail. But they also actually use it as a base coat for bone and stuff like that, which is interesting because normally speaking, if you're doing it in a more traditional way, you'd actually use like something like Xandri dust, something kind of like that. But how the entire system kind of ended up going after they finished up with all the details looked really nice. And again, we want this model to look unique. So, just for the sake of kind of showing, we have the Wrecker Flesh right here, and as you can actually see, the ultimate grades we used before is already separated out a little bit on the wet palette. That can happen. That's why you don't want to over apply too much. So, for this boy, let's go ahead and start on the flesh. It's got it nice and thin down. Maybe not thin enough now that I'm looking at it. No, we got little bubbles forming. It's actually probably too thin. Alright, yeah, just checking how that was looking. Let's go ahead and get right there. If it gets a little messy, that's fine. We're actually going to go for a little bit more because we're getting more water than paint right now. Alright, so actually what I just did there is I brought up my towel and I actually took the tip of the brush and I applied it to it. That way if there's any excess moisture, it'll seep into there. Not something you should always do, but if you're working with too watered down paint, it is a good way to make sure it's looking a lot more, well, not runny. So yeah, it's okay to be messy on this stage since we're going to be doing a lot of cleanup in the future. I'm actually getting on the robes and the back plate right there as well. Again, totally fine because down the road, we are actually going to clean up a whole lot of that with a detail brush and kind of make it look nice and good. So let's get it in there. Get it on that side as well. We got this section underneath his arm right there that's probably hard for you guys to see. But we'll get that little critter right there too. Nice. Alright. So, I'm already noticing on some of these raised sections right over here that the black is actually starting to show up again underneath the section I just painted. So we're going to have to go again with another coat. That's totally fine. Better to do multiple thin coats than one thick one, because otherwise you just destroy detail on your model. And we don't want to do that. Nagash is a big boy model. It's also kind of expensive, but it's Games Workshop, what do you expect? We want to make sure that we don't rush anything, take our time, make sure it looks good, because once this little guy is looking complete, and we got all those details finished, it is going to be a centerpiece model The kind of thing that really makes it go, damn, that's cool as hell. You can show it off to all your friends and finally make up for all the times you got picked on at school by that jerk Kevin. Yeah, anyways, let's go ahead and paint some of these boats, because we're actually going to be basing these in the Raycar flesh as well. Get that trim. Yep, starting to get runny again, so let's go ahead and get some more. The situation we're ended up there is we're actually running out of pigments. Oh. There goes my mouse. That's fine. I can pick that sucker up later. Yeah, there we go. Get that section right there, just drag it up a little bit. Again, if we get it over these segmented armor panels, it's probably a little bit difficult to make out. We get them on these little sections, that's fine. We're going to paint them in a different color, so it's no skin off of our nose. Let's go ahead and finish up this torso section too. Yep, upon reflection, I think what I did was definitely a mistake. It was definitely better just to wait a little bit of time for the paints over there to dry on the this section, since now I'm focused on doing this. It's alright, it's a learning process. If there's one piece of knowledge and information I can pass along to you when it comes down to painting, or really just about anything that you do, it's okay to suck. It's totally fine to suck. Also, find ways to cheat. Probably not the most positive advice, but who cares? What matters is that you do something that you're feeling good about, and so long as it's not like cartoonishly evil or wrong, it should probably be okay. I guess from a philosophical point of view, you know, cheating's okay, just so long as you're not being a dick about it. I wouldn't say, for example, cheat on like a partner or nothing like that. If you're already at that stage in your relationship, you might just want to go ahead and just say, like, hey, maybe we should see some other people. Oh well. As you can see how pasty my arm is there. Perfect. Oh yeah. Philosophical diatribes, huh? Nah. Real talk though, since that was obviously a bit of a joke, but just to kind of further emphasize this point, don't cheat on everything, but when it comes down to painting miniatures and kind of a lot of other hobby stuff, be it, I don't know, train collections? Do people still collect trains, actually? Think so? Maybe? That's always crazy. Anyways, you know, find a result that looks good and find the fewest steps you can take to get to that point. You can be extraordinarily anal retentive and like go through like 50 different shades and coats and stuff like that to really try to make it look like, oh man, I did 17 shades of this glaze to get this good transition and blend, which, bit of foreshadowing. But if you find a way to do that same thing without having to go through all that, do it. Alright, so we got the paint on the torso, around the rim here. You know, honestly, I might just actually just want to paint this entire pauldron in Raycar Flesh, and then just pick out the details later on down the road. Since the black coat's actually making it a little bit difficult to make sure I'm getting all the details. The black primer. That's a novel concept. It's got those little indents right there, but hey, it's okay. I can tackle those little boys later. Yeah, I think for right now that's looking pretty good. We got tons of more stuff we can work on the body here in terms of getting this color down, but we're not going to worry about it. Why? Because this is something for tomorrow me to worry about, or I guess later me to worry about. What current me is going to worry about is like this stuff. So we're done with this section for right now. We're going to go ahead and set this to the area I got over here. Let stuff dry. Keeping this up here just because it's got a base and it's nice and even. That one, since it doesn't have anything attached to it, we can put an area that shouldn't get contaminated or what's the word I'm looking for here? Contaminated or kind of like stick to or adhere to or anything like that. Nah, whatever. think what I needed to do for the future, I'm already seeing some of the shortcomings of this approach I had for the stream, is that the webcam that I got right now is at an angle. It's actually pointing downwards. To get it to go where it's like directly above. That would be a lot better, I think. But I need to find a good apparatus for that. Later me's problem. Current me's problem. This flipping thing. Alright. Also, since we're probably going to be looking at some washes and stuff like that we're going to be working on, let's go ahead and just close up the old wet palette again. There we go. Sick. Alright, let's take a look. Let's see how this is coming out. So, first one I want to look at is how Games Workshop themselves did it, which is base coat of Ulthuan Grey, Nagash oxide. Wood. And that is this one right down here. So, as we can see, it's got a nice kind of good ethereal look to it. It's recessed pretty well, like right there, for example, which is kind of hard to pull up on this stream since it's not auto-focusing. No, it's not. Wow. Okay, that sucks. But we got some good recess detail, like right down here. That's really held onto that color well as just tinting the rest of this, that kind of grayish kind of blue color, which is good. For this one right here, this is Ulthuan Grey with Hex Wraith Flame on it. This one is a lot lighter in tone, very green, surprisingly green. Taking a look at it, the Ulthuan Grey has definitely helped to dim it down, and it's definitely helped keep it in the recesses, like this ridge right here, which is probably hard to see a little bit, but this ridge right here is actually looking pretty good. It's maintained a lot of that base coat underneath, so that's not bad. Now if we look at these two in the back, these ones are the Wraithbone base coats. Looking at this one, we have the X-Wraith Flame right here. And this one, it's still green, but yeah, it's very, very green. It's a very strong green. Right here, we actually have the Nagash oxide over the Ulthuan Grey, or over the Wraithbone as well, and it definitely looks better than this. This green right here, I think, is definitely too strong, but this one right here is looking a lot better. Kind of looking at it, it's much more subdued. I think probably upon a retrospect, I like this one. There's going to be some green on the model already, especially around the eyes on his head, and we're probably going to want to save that for really pinpoint details. I think what we probably could do with this X-Ray Flame bottle right here is we can actually use this to kind of add a little bit of kind of eerie greenness to some of the recesses on, like, say for example, the ghost's face. Like, we got some sections here around the skull and stuff like that we can actually work on that too, and kind of making it look a little bit more ethereal and spooky. But for right now, honestly, the Ulthuan Grey, the Nagash oxide, I think this one's definitely my favorite. So, good news, we found something that we like. Bad news. We gotta base coat all this now. Base coating sucks. Just locked into the model. Oh boy. Alright, it's fine. Something you have to do anyways. But not Ulthuan Grey. I was saying Ulthuan Grey this entire time. Correction. Celestia Grey. We're gonna go ahead and just put a mulligan on that. Celestia Grey. Woo. Alright. Well, I guess this is as good a time as any to kind of talk about, well, base coating and how that works. Base coating is a super necessary step, and we kind of did a little bit of that with the torso Nagash we were working on before, the Raycar flesh and all that kind of stuff. Depending on the size of the model or how you're doing it, like if you have the ability to, say for example, prime the color that you want to base coat everything in, I want you to know I am being as earnest as I possibly can here when I tell you this. This is the no BS corner, everybody. So get hyped, because we're gonna be spitting some straight facts here. If you can prime the model in the base coat that you want, do it. Not maybe I should, or yeah, you're gonna be cool if I did. I'm telling you right now, do it, because base coating sucks, and it's boring, and it's tedious, and no matter how much you do it, there's always gonna be a little part that you see in the model that makes you go like, oh geez, I missed that part too. Oh boy, especially if you got something kind of like this going on, where the color we're going to be painting it to is regrettably similar to the color it already is. If you take a look at the bottom of these, there's a difference, you can tell, but not a very stark one. In comparison to, say for example, kind of the torso of Nagash we did here, where already you can see there's a huge difference between like the black that we have them painted to the Ricard Flesh base coat that we did right there. And actually taking a look at that, yeah, I need to go over this section again. See, should have stayed focused, not stay smart. Because the smart thing I did was actually stupid. So, let us metaphorically roll up our sleeves. By that I mean my gloves. Sick. There we go. Celestial Gray. Let's shake this boy up. Yeah. Heck yeah. Alright. We're gonna pop the lid. The old wet palette again. I don't think I actually talked about wet palettes versus dry palettes yet. Dry palettes basically just pretty much anything. There's a couple like physical palettes and stuff like that you can use. Also, we're going to be using this fat brush because it has more surface area. Sick. So, dry palettes can be anything. It can be a specially designed piece of plastic for that purpose. It could be a piece of paper, I guess. You can use like a plastic plate if you really want to. There's tons of things you can use as a dry palette. Dry palettes are not terrible. I'm not saying exclusively use a wet palette over a dry palette, because dry palettes are evil and horrible and awful, and how dare you ever use it. I won't be your friend anymore. You've made an enemy. In fact, you will rue the day that you've ever decided to speak those words to me, you filthy ingrate. Something like that. The reason why wet palettes are nice is because I'm gonna let you in on a bit of a secret. A bit of a secret between you and me. Wet palettes keep your paints wet, which means they last longer. That's it. That's all they do. Actually, also makes it easier to blend by mixing colors together and stuff. But that's neither here nor there. Something I'm still not super comfortable with doing, because I like consistency, and that's the excuse I tell people. In reality, I'm just not good enough for it yet. But we're not going to worry about that, because A, that's depressing, and B, having flaws makes me more approachable and likable, you know? That's the gimmick, at least. Okay, so I've actually added it back to the same section I had it on there previously. I've added a lot more. I'm noticing, yeah, it seems a little bit too runny. I'm gonna have to add some more on there, some more pigment. There we go. Consistency. There we go. See, that was the punchline I was trying to tell before I got myself distracted. It's all about consistency. So, we got this nightmare of a brush. Just chock full of gray. I'm okay having it this much gray because this is a beaten up old brush and we're using this for base coating. We're not using anything high detail, so it's okay if it's a little bit wonky. But what I'm going to do is tap it against the shop vac towel. That way any excess moisture, because the paint looked a little bit runny on the wet palette. There it is. Hey, there's that boy. Look at that. I attached it to, or I applied it to the shop vac towel there, just so I can take off any excess moisture or anything like that, because I don't want this to get too thin, otherwise I'm just wasting my time. but that is applying very nicely and very smoothly. So far, yeah, I'm feeling pretty happy about that. Sick. Now, I got these books in the way, which is the thing that I'm hitting up right now. I am going to be doing the books later, so I am totally okay if I get these little gremlins covered up of other colors and stuff like that, because it is fine. Something I'm going to have to explore, though, is the textured base that I worked on. The reason why I wanted to spray paint it a color is because until you get these textured things varnished or covered with a good couple of coats of paint to really adhere them, they're very fragile. And actually, you can see right there, yeah, look at that, the little spot right there, and that's the chip coming off of the textures. You can see actually a lot of these pieces have already fallen off. Now, that's okay, I can always paint them again later on down the road, but you often find that being the case with a lot of these texture paints. If you apply the really big, thick globules, which is what you want. That's how you get these really deep cracks and stuff like that in there. You apply them in thick, meaty globules. That also makes them really brittle, though. It sucks. It's a give and take. All right, so we're gonna finish this. I'm going to finish this singular strand right here first. Make sure we get this all taken care of before we move on to anything else, because as we saw what happened when we were working on Nagash's body, got distracted, lost my train of thoughts, and all of a sudden I have to do all these details all over again. That sucks. So, instead, we're not going to be smart, we are going to be focused. No way. Is this the birthday song again? Whoa, that's crazy. It's happening again. It's comedic at this point. It's been comedic. It's just maintaining comediacy. I don't even think that's a word, but we're going to go ahead and roll the comediacy. Heck yeah. English is a living language, it's fine. We can just make stuff up. Yeah, get the underside too. Nice, there we go. Okay. So on this boy right here, that's applying pretty well. Okay, cool. Now we are working on the ghosts. I think a top-down perspective for the camera would have looked a lot better. And we're going to get inside and ghosts here. Actually, speaking of the ghosts, before I continue complaining about the way that I set up my camera, let me show you guys a little bit of a trick, just in case you ever find yourself in a position where you're working on a Nagash model as well. Now, these three ghosts up here, don't worry, I'm touching the side that hasn't been painted yet. These three ghosts up here, they're actually these two. Boop, boop, boop. Not this middle boy. Boop, boop, boop. The two top ones are connected together, but this middle one, these top ones, are not. So, what I did, and actually, is... You gonna autofocus, buddy? Let's see if it focuses on my hand. No, I guess not. Okay, well, we'll put it over here. Alright, so what I did is right here we got a hand of this ghost. So I actually glued the hand of that ghost onto this ghost's head. That way they're all together. Now, it's still got a lot of vibration on it, so actually what I'm going to do once I finish painting a lot more of this, especially the robe right here, is I'm actually going to glue this book right there onto the robe right there. That way, it's nice and firm, so you can wiggle it around. It won't shake as much as it is right now. Agitated ghost noises. I just noticed when I was doing that this boy was like seeming really well centered. That's kind of funny. Alright, So, we got the back contrail, that looking pretty good. Around this section, all the way up. So now, we're going to work on this section. On the front side of it. Also, another benefit about kind of gluing them together is that it makes them a lot more stable, which is great. Make sure they're not going to be spinning off all over the place and stuff like that, because that sucks. It's actually kind of doing that right now a little bit. Let me support it like this, grabbing onto that bottom side right there. Nice. There we go. That's looking a lot better. Get some more paint in the brush since we're kind of running a little bit low now. Yeah, already I can see some of the problems that are happening here. Look how much it's vibrating. They're so agitated, these little boys. Aggressive ghost noises. Oh my goodness. I just painted the back side of them too, so I don't want to hold them by the back. I'm actually going to go ahead and restock the paint that we had on the palette. The amount that I grabbed before was not nearly enough, but that is okay. I did not want to overload too much in the palette, just in case, for whatever reason, I had to stop. Because since as we saw before, the paint had this propensity to separate. If we do it this way, we use as much as we have on the palette, and then we can go back for some more sometime later, no problem. And that's definitely way better than just putting way too much on there, and then having to leave or stop what we're doing for whatever reason. And then having all that paint be separated and get it really kind of gross and inconsistent, kind of what it was looking like before. Now I was lucky, because when I reapplied paint to that section of the wet palette, it evened up pretty quickly. Ooh, okay. So we actually got a little bit too much paint right there in the eye socket. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna grab the round number 2 that we've been using before. Make sure. Yeah, there we go. Always not clogging up the details. Probably would have ended up drawing just fine, but yeah, no reason to even risk that. Probably tells me that my paint is not thin enough. Although it's not masking up any details like I'm seeing on these weapons that these ghosts are carrying. They got these little holes right there, and they're actually still looking pretty good there. So could have just been I had just too much that time. Birthday Son's playing again. This is cartoonish. It's like a holiday season and you're a retail worker. And you hear just one too many Christmas songs. I actually used to be a retail worker. Worked at a gas station. Graveyard shift because I'm a weird boy. And you gotta deal with a lot of weird people there. But the gas station I was working at actually had this inbuilt music system, just of like a PA system that they were playing music over. Very typical stuff. You'd see that in like a lot of retail joints. Biggest problem though is that they had a set rotation of songs, and we, the employees, the poor unfortunate souls that we were, could not do anything about them. I will tell you now, I cannot listen to Manic Monday without seeing red. It is a nightmare made flesh. Sonically. Sonic flesh. Sonic flesh. No, we're not gonna worry about it. That is a dark road. Sonic flesh. Alright. Stupid things to say. Tally mark number 1. Let's keep that train going, boys. Hell yeah. Let's keep making mistakes. It's just the birthday song over and over again. Yeah, this is not a music playlist that I catered. Or so just some stuff I found and decided to put on. Okay, there we go. That's a bit more jazzy. That's a bit better. Actually, you know what? Speaking of music, weird opinion time. I'm not saying this is so much a flex, but I kind of hate big band music, which sounds weird because who cares? It's big band. But big band music to me has always seemed so like self-aggrandizing. It's like every single obnoxious rich kid you've ever seen in their entire life constantly snorting air at you with their head upturned, just made manifest in the form of a genre of music. It's I don't know, it just always seems like it's too self-congratulatory and too what's the word I'm looking for? Just aggrandizing, too self-aggrandizing, really. I think that is just the best way to put it. It's obnoxious, it's annoying. Now, does that mean that absolutely every single big band piece of music is awful? Like, technically no. And there's a couple that seem alright, but like, people got problems and crap, man. It's okay to feel good about what you're doing sometimes, but also, humility is a good thing to have too. Like, mellow out, my dude. So that's my own stupid neurotic take on big band music, which of course is just real silly and stupid, but that's just how it do, man. In terms of music that I like, though, like if I had a preferred genre of music, I mean, jazz can be nice, and I'm not even just talking smooth jazz, because smooth jazz is kind of in a similar position as big band music is, where it can be very self-aggrandizing, very floppish, and just sort of like, hey, look how cool and neat we are. We listen to jazz. Wow. Smooth jazz can be nice. It can be very relaxing and very, very soothing. But it's also not really jazz. It is, but also not really. What I mean is, jazz is a very aggressive music style. It's not quite punk, obviously, but real good, challenging jazz is a treat. Something that I really like. And the reason why I'm rambling on so much about this is because it dovetails pretty decently into prog. I really like prog music. I like the changing time code, like the time signatures. Key changes can be really annoying, and actually ever since I was informed about how many key changes there were in music, it's driven me insane. Like I can't stomach key changes anymore. But that's only just because like the vast majority of key changes that are out there are just trash and garbage. Like, here's a good example. Think about like any 90s, early 2000s movie you saw, where the credits are rolling, the music's playing, you're listening to it, and you're thinking, oh boy, Shrek 3 is a treasure that will go down in the hallowed halls of cinema for all time. And you're hearing the theme music play, and some person who's gathering a paycheck, no offense to them, I mean, I can respect that, is belting out a song, and then they get to a point where, okay, so we kind of hit a high note. Not always literally, but sometimes literally. We hit a high note in the song. We kind of hit an emotional crest. What do we do now? And the producer's just like, okay, do it again, but an octave higher. See, it sounds stupid. It is, especially me rambling on about it. But I need to illustrate this point that it's so annoying. It's so trite. It's the exact same thing you just heard, but a little bit higher. Oh boy. Repetition can be good. It definitely can be good, especially if you're trying to establish like a theme or some such. We're also painting this little section right here that's not connected to the ghosts, because we're going to make a blend between the robe to the specters. Anyways, repetition, as I said this word twice now within the same paragraph, probably, is this scripted? Hold on, let me 1 second. Let me check. Let me clean up my brush. Hold on, everybody. We're gonna make sure. Make sure I'm staying on script here. Okay, brush looking good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Repetition. Raid Shadow Legends. That's like a good 30 minutes. Sometimes we're not going to worry about that just yet. No, yeah, we're good. We're looking good. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. Alrighty. So repetition can be good for the sake of comedy. Like if like in 20 minutes from now I pull out that like notebook thing and I do that entire joke again, will it be funny? Potentially. It's not an impossibility. It could also be really obnoxious. And there's the point. Ah, haha. You thought this was like some self-deprecating bit. Instead, I was making the same point I was talking about originally. That's how smart I am. See, there we go. Now we're going back to the big band thing. Aha. Self-aggrandizing. Oh, ooh. Clever. Clever. Clever, Fred boy. You smart, though. And for the real twist, this is what I mean by cheating, everybody. All of that was just a riff. It was a stupid, dumb little gag, but I brought it back to something I was talking about previously, and then all of a sudden, hey, that's smart. You're only an idiot until you prove yourself otherwise. Or was it you're only an idiot until you open up your mouth? Is it one of those? How did that saying go? Huh. Yeah, you're only an idiot until you... Right, so let's continue base coding. Yeah, just put more paint on the old palette there. Nice, there we go. Now we're starting to get somewhere, boys. We're getting a lot of coverage done. This is starting to look a lot better. Holy cow, this guy is shaking so violently. Angry little rattly ghost. Aggressively shakes at you. Oh, this is dumb. I love it. What was the scene before we started laughing about the ghost shaking? Repetition, right. So repetition can be funny. It can also be annoying. Like, if you get where it's going, then it can be like, alright man, can you shut up? Like, you're not funny, man, stop it. But there's this Event Horizon, which is a pretty good movie, actually, now that I think about it. I liked Event Horizon. It's very evocative of, like, some good sci-fi, like, science fiction horror and stuff. It also, like, really starkly kind of represents kind of, like, a proto-40K movie before there's ever been a 40K movie. And I think there's been, like, an animated 40K movie. But, man, Event Horizon is really just like, hey, warp travel, though. The movie. Also, man, I love Sam Neill. He's fantastic. He's great. It's crazy to me to think that he's in, like, Jurassic Park and stuff like that, because I don't really remember him for Jurassic Park anymore. I have to be reminded that he's like, oh, they're real. Or they walk, or they travel in herds, or whatever the line was. Yeah, it was one of those. But man, he's great. Like, In the Mouth of Madness, phenomenal. Possession. It's like an 87 movie, like an 86 movie. Something. It's like some German expressionist kind of movie. It's really good, though. Really horrifying scenes in there of the lead actress just screaming her bloody guts out in a subway while she's tossing milk cartons all over the place, just screaming and screaming and screaming. And you think to yourself, like, wow, that's a lot. She keeps going. It's just more and more screaming. And you're like, okay, we can stop now. But she keeps screaming and screaming. And you're like, all right, Mom, can you pick me up? And she's just looking at you and she's screaming. She's writhing around on the milk-laden like subway station floor, just screaming and writhing. And you're like, holy shit. You for real? And she was. It's great. Phenomenal acting. Extremely impressed by how she did. Like that entire scene, that entire movie is just really interesting. But yeah, so Sam Neill in Event Horizon is also really cool because it's Event Horizon. It's goofy at some points, like the social effects. Some of them have aged well, like the practical effects. Others have not. Also, a bit of a sad sob story about that little thing about how a lot of the practical effects and stuff like that were lost when the production company, I think it was Fox, maybe somebody else, I could look it up, but I'd rather not be proven wrong and instead just bloviate continuously about something that I think I know about, but not really. Man, that was kind of a harsh self-critique right there, but it was accurate too. Anyways, bloviating. So instead of being proven wrong about something, just keep on acting like I know what I'm talking about for either the sake of comedy. See, there's that cheating thing again. Just like I talked about, everybody. Pretend like you know what you're doing the entire time. People think you're smart and funny. Or alternatively, just ignore the fact that I could have possibly been wrong. And instead just act really indignant when I get proven incorrect. That way I can start an argument. And if I start an argument, I can win an argument. And if I win an argument, that means I'm smarter than somebody else. This is a bit, by the way. The starting the argument thing. Not winning the argument. I am smart. Very intelligent. I watch Rick and Morty. I'm super smart. But, yeah. Sam Neill, though. Event Horizon, 40K. Mm-hmm. So yeah, anyways, that's the thing about repetition. It can be funny. It can also be really annoying too, especially when people like get the joke. They're like, "All right, hey, can you shut up now, man?" But instead, you just kind of lose train of thought and keep on meandering about other topics until eventually you can find something to latch onto and start bloviating about that. Yeah, we can get them bones right there, boy. Hell yeah. Yeah, is that looking good? Yeah, we got some stuff here in the middle we need to work on. Should probably clean off this brush. I've been using it for a while. Yeah, there we go. So let's go ahead and do a callback for a second. Remember when I said, like, hey, base coating sucks? This is why. Like, you can see there is a difference in the color between these two. We're not done. We're gonna need to work on some of the parts that I missed, and then double check to make sure that it's a full good coverage, that nothing's kind of seeping through to underneath, like the Wraithbone spray that I used to kind of prime this little critter. Because if it is, guess what? I gotta do it again, at least that section. Also gotta make sure that I get the inside of the robes too. Like, it's kind of hard to see. But right there, hey, yeah, you can't really see that. How about this? There we go. That's a really comfortable angle for my wrist. Hell yeah. This section right here, gotta get this stuff too, because them's is ghosts too, baby. You guys ever think about how many ghosts would be around? Like, there'd just probably be ghosts everywhere, man. That'd be kind of crazy. I wonder if I can talk to ghosts, if they'd be jerks or not. I guess it depends if ghosts can talk to other ghosts. You think about like the Sixth Sense and stuff like that, being able to talk to ghosts and like dead people and stuff. I think if dead people could talk to other dead people, it'd probably be okay. It'd also probably be annoying because like you have to deal with the live people who are also annoying. But if you can't talk to anybody when you're dead, then you're a ghost. If you are a ghost, if ghosts are a thing, just think about that for a second. Like, if I get a chance to talk to somebody who can talk to dead people, and it's like the first time you had like any interaction with somebody for like years, decades, centuries, maybe even. Imagine trying to start a conversation that way. Just be all like, hey, you hear about Jurassic Park? It's just looking at you like, what are you talking about, man? Hey, I heard about Jurassic Park. Is Sam Neill's in it? That's kind of weird. Sam Neill's in a lot of movies, like a lot of like expressionist movies, but now he's in like a blockbuster. That's kind of crazy, right? Why am I so fixated on Jurassic Park? That's fine. It's not that important. Yeah, there we go. Gotta make sure we get them ghosts looking good. Get the... Yeah, so right there, getting the back section of their heads right now. The more coverage we get, the better. And then we can apply the nailic oxide onto it. Get really good, nice coverage. How's this looking? What parts am I missing right now? I feel like I'm definitely missing some stuff. Got some of the inside of the robe. Yeah, it's looking alright right there. Cool. Okay. Looking good, solid gray. How about in here? Yeah, let's get some more of that. Yeah, there we go. Alright. Okay, I think so far in terms of all the Celestial Gray that I've been working on, not Ultimate Gray, so you learned about mistake. Hey, character arcs, woo! Anyways, for the base and stuff, I'm wondering if I should keep it right about, you know, let's try this. Let's do this. Let's get a little bit of paint on the flat head. Let's try applying it to the base and see if we kick off too much stuff. Because if we do, then... Oh, yep, there it goes, right there. Okay, yeah, the smaller pieces are looking pretty alright. Maybe my mentality about this should be, hey, if stuff's going to break off, it's going to break off anyways. Because you need to paint over this stuff anyways, you're not going to be leaving it raised bound. So this would be a good chance to kind of paint the base underneath. Yeah, you know what? That's not a terrible idea. That's actually probably the right mindset to have. And I can always use some excess pieces. Okay, there we go. I can always use some excess pieces on the base as well. Attach a couple skulls here and there, some extra heads I have from the Mortec Guard Oceanic Grim Reapers that I have. That's... I mean, those are... They're like not quite full-blown skulls. They're made of skull. Probably, maybe a couple fingers in there too. Those Grim Reapers are weird. Cool though. Cool. I like them. They're like the skeleton IRS. Irritable repo skeletons. Acronym jokes, eh? Alright, let's close the lid with this bad boy. Hell yeah. Get the brush looking good. Alright. Maybe a dab. Maybe that's the correct solution. If I dab gently and softly, I should be able to get the color applied. Nope. That's just breaking off everything. Alright, yeah, we're not working about it. If it breaks off, it breaks off. It wasn't meant to be. We're not going to be super forceful with it, but we're definitely not going to be... Keep the sounds running for a little bit longer. Yeah. Okay, awkwardly... No, I just got that for... No, here we go. Yeah. Awkwardly say something, then hold silence for the sake of joke. Okay, yeah, good. So yeah, repetition. No, I'm joking. Yeah. Man, it's just breaking off so much of the texture. That sucks. There's still enough kind of hanging around, especially when this dries. We should still get a lot of those craters in there. Because that's really what I really want. I really want to like apply. I was gonna test out which one's the neolite oxide and the X-ray flame. Kind of see which one I like the most of, and then apply it, because the reason why these craters are so good is because the stronger portion of the paint is going to sink into the recesses of those craters, make it very, very stark, while the top of it's going to be a little brighter. And then I was actually going to dry brush on top of it. Probably go for like just a nice, good, pure white, maybe a light gray, like a lighter gray than what I'm working with right now. That way, the deep recesses of blue stand out very nicely with the kind of highlighted. Yeah, there's. Bruh, get the heck out of here, my dude. You don't want to stay? Then that's fine. You don't have to go home, but I guess you're not staying here. I wanted you to stay here, but you decided against it. Yeah, see. You know, I bet if I had like an airbrush, this would be so much easier and so much more successful. Not only just for the large surface area, but also maintaining the texture paints and stuff like that too. Because then that way, not only A, would I get a nice even coat, and it wouldn't disrupt the texture nearly as much as this is, but B, the paint drying on top would also help secure it as well. But regrettably, my living situation is not one where I can really use an airbrush, because while acrylic paints themselves are not necessarily toxic, it's also not a good thing for you to breathe them in either. So it is not exactly feasible for me. Bit of a shame. But it's okay. We're gonna work on a couple other things. I'm not apologizing for the burp, by the way. You gotta keep that. That's yours. Let's put it all in one place, though. Alright, champ. Just letting a fat belch just rip. Hell yeah. It's so stupid and crass. This, by the way, everybody, is my sense of humor. You can either be jealous, or you can feel pity. Or disgust, that's also an option. It's just a whole lot of self-aggrandizement. Maybe that's the reason why I hate big bands so much, and like smooth jazz to a lesser extent. It's too familiar, it reminds me too much of myself. No way! No way! It happened again! Bro, it's a birthday again. Happy birthday, little boy. Given what we've been listening to, this is like your 9th one in the past hour. Congrats. How old are you now? Too old? Yeah, that's right. You've been hanging around here for a bit too long. Everyone's kind of getting sick of you. Maybe you should go. What does it call you, a cab or something, buddy? No, you don't think you want a cab? Oh, that's okay. That's fine, old boy. If not a cab, a car. Because you've been drinking a little bit. You've been drinking jazz playlist. Do you want to... Oh, let's see, this piece right there came out and just completely ruined the flow of that bit. What the hell? Ooh, yeah. I need to clean this brush. Holy cow. Not even just like a kind of wash it kind of brush. I need to get like some brush cleaner and clean it. Anyway, something. Acting very... No! So much of it's gone. So much of it. Missing. Gone. Lost. Yeah, see it right there. Look at that. Look at all those pieces that are just coming off right there. That's a really nice, beautiful little crevice. This is... Alright, we're gonna... Alright, well, at least it's changed up the formula a little bit, this one. Okay. Okay. Yeah, there are tons of little splotchy sections all over the base where the gray didn't hit. I'm also really sick of working on gray. We're gonna keep going though, because this is what base coating is, and this is why I will tell you all, as I said before, if you can prime your miniature the same color that the base coat's going to be, please, by all means, do so. It'll save you so much heartache, and especially if you're a brand new painter and stuff like that too, you're really not super experienced and you're not really used to doing a whole lot of it. Like, I'm not going to say I'm like a hardcore veteran or anything like that, but this is just so tedious. I want to do something cool, man. No, I need to get the back part of this. See? This is why it's important to check. Otherwise, I would not have gotten this section right here, and it would have been the previous color, and that would have been bad. Yeah. Okay, yeah, let's just get that. Yeah, just get it. Yeah, get it in there. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. This could just be a really poor justification, but maybe leaving some of the wraith bone underneath will actually be good because it'll cause a little bit of a differential in the nail lock oxide. Yeah, there we go. See, that's some poor judgment justification. No, you little buddy. Oh, it's underneath so much that you can't see it, but just a good crack of piece just got lost. You know what? We're gonna go ahead and stop that there. We're not gonna continue this travesty. It's just gonna continue. It's gonna get worse and worse. All right. Oh crap! I think it's time. Let me make sure. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Raid Shadow Legends, the mobile game with over... Alright, this ad read bit's done. We're not doing this anymore. I thought it'd be like, oh, advertising Raid Shadow Legends. Hey, what is it? Is it early 2020? Anyways, the reason I'm bringing this up, we're going to go ahead and take a quick 5, everybody, while I try to regain my sanity. I'm also going to take some aspirin. It's not just because of this, though. No way! It's happening again! It happened again! Ah! That's crazy! Yo! Oh, man. Alright. Bro. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and take a quick 5. When we get back, we're gonna go ahead and get it a little bit messy with doing some nail lock oxide and stuff like that. I have decided to live with my past mistakes, and all the wraith bone that's remaining on the base right now, we're just gonna go ahead and say, hey, guess what? Congrats, that's what you're looking like from here on out, buddy boy. Because I'm losing so much of the texture, and yeah. Anyways, I'm rambling. All right, everybody. let's go ahead and take a quick 5. I'm going to leave you with the sweet dulcet tones of another birthday party. Congratulations. What'd you get me? Oh boy, a gift card. I mean, it's nice and I appreciate it, but that's just not very thoughtful. Not like your brother. Your brother got me a mug that had my name on it, and that was very sweet. And, you know, you're not supposed to have favorites, but, listen, you're not going to get it that much in the blue. Alright, anyways, see you guys in a little bit. We're back. And it's not a birthday song again. Oh, look at us. Oh, we're so lucky. Alright, everybody. So, I have Hey, camera's back. Grabbed another brush. That brush is the shade brush. Benefits about the shade brush is the bristles are very, very coarse, which means, and I could be completely wrong here. Oh, is there a hole? Well, what that could mean, of course, maybe not. Anyways, I'm losing my train of thought here. Point aside, what this thing is good for is getting very flowy, watery, liquidy paints, getting them to flow all over the place, which is what we're gonna do next, the yellow oxide. But hey, look, it's separated. Oh no, we got some blues. Boo. This is why you shake it up, baby. All right, go ahead and wash up the wash brush a little bit, the shade brush, because again, consistency. Could be a completely pointless and stupid ritual, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Okay, get a good dollop in there. Alrighty. Yeah, look at that. Alright, cool. So, we have to do this pretty much all at once. We can't stop because otherwise it will have a line form where it started drying, and that will look really gross and dumb and bad, and we don't want that. So instead, we're gonna do all this at once, which is one of the reasons why we had to make sure we got the base coat looking pretty good for that Celestia Gray. Okay. Also, another thing to watch out for, something you can see actually right down there, is that it's starting to pool and collect a lot. So we're actually going to use the brush and we're just going to drag it across over there, pick up some of the excess, and move it around so that way it doesn't really like stain all the details. Because we got a skeleton right there. It's pretty spooky, I know. And we want to make sure that we can have those bones and ribcage show up, because that way it'll look sick and cool, because it'll be a giant skeleton with even more skeletons on it. No way. I know. It's impressive. Side benefit about doing this too is that once we get kind of the nihilic oxide taken care of, we can actually work on the robes proper, because the nihilic oxide is definitely going to be the dirtiest part of this. Uh-oh, make sure that doesn't fall. Cool. See, that's what we call a Chekhov's gun in the biz. Why am I getting SpongeBob vibes from this? Getting some real SpongeBob vibes from this track. Alright. Weird. Not a problem though. Yeah, get that inside right there too. Nice, nice. Transition. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful. Work it, work it. Yeah, you got this. Look at that. Alright, let's get the back side too. Make sure we don't forget about that. Gorgeous. Beautiful. Look at that. It's all slightly kind of tealish green right now. Oh, that's gorgeous. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm so happy and proud about how all this looks. Oh my god. I have made nothing but correct decisions. Okay, yeah. Still got a little bit too much there in the recesses, but that's okay. We're just going to go ahead and pick up some of that with the brush. Move it around a little bit. Beautiful. Alright, going on for some more. So actually what I'm doing whenever I'm doing this is I'm dunking this sucker in there, nice and good, getting a whole huge helping. Then using the brush, pushing it against the edge of the pot to kind of squeeze out some of it so that way it's not overloaded. Kind of like how that ended up right there. Look how bright that is. But that's okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to paint some more surface area. Yep, see, that's still too much. But this is okay, because as we're going over more of this, more and more of the paint is actually going to be removed on more surface area. Big shock. That's how physics work. And we're going to go back to some of the previous stuff, collect the excess that we had right there. Hey, look at that! We're going to move it around to other spots. grabbing the center of the robe right now just to make sure we got a nice stable position. Also, so we don't inadvertently get paint all over ourselves. Okay, there we go. Nice, nice, okay. Got back to some of the previous stuff that we worked on. Let's weten it up again. Keep it flowing. Okay, there we go, beautiful. And remember everybody, the excuse that we're working with right now is any wraithbone that's still showing through, that's fine. That is intentionally there to create a little bit of a... What's a good word? What's a good excuse for this? What was the excuse I came up with? To create a bit of a... Oh boy, yep. That excuse though, so good, I dare not speak it again. It's just how good... It's just how good that excuse was. Variation? Was that it? Is that the word I was pretending to use? Yeah, I think it was variation. We're gonna go for variation. Okay, nice. Yep. Again, it's okay if we get the books messy because we are gonna be working on those later. So it is totally fine if they are messy. Now let's go ahead and get these ghosts, boys. Oh no. My shaky head is being painted blue. I'm sad now, maybe. Or just still very agitated because I'm very violently moving about. You know, probably in retrospect, I probably should have glued down the book to the robe. I was thinking about waiting until after I finish up with all that stuff because I didn't want to get in the way and have to worry about like being real careful around it, but I'm probably going to have to do that anyways, just given how close it was physically, or how close it is physically to it. Yeah. Yep. Lesson learned, I believe, because that stuff is just shaken all about, and it's definitely doing it. All right. Okay. Yeah. There we go. All right. Look how much they're shaking, though. Mm-hmm. Okay. Maybe a little bit aggressive down here just because it seems like a lot of it's kind of sticking. There we go. Yep, get the inside right there. That's the part we had not worked on yet. Okay. 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 Let's go in for some more. I'm going to go ahead and pretend and say that it's okay for us to be messy in this stage. And that way, I don't have to feel like I'm a failure. I'm Stark. Oh, yeah? Yeah, let's get the undercarriage of this boy. Yeah, get right up in the grundle. Right up in the grundle right there. Heck yeah. Let's get his face, too. Ooh, I'm screaming because I'm a ghost. Alright. Yep, there we go. Nice, nice. Get it all up in there, boy. Hell yeah. Alright. Let's go ahead and use the brush to move around some of the sections we just worked on. Make sure it's not recessing too much, like right there. That's a good example. That I just got rid of, so I couldn't even show you guys. Take my word for it. Would I lie to you all? Maybe. How would you even tell? Now let's start again. Wow. is going on this dark drain. Alright, yeah, let's get this stuff right in there. Get the back side of it. Because we don't want a spooky teal ethereal look on the front side, and then it's just, yeah, it's just gray on the back. Because that'll look dumb. Okay. So, all of this up here is looking pretty good. Oh, except for the back of this boy's head. So we are going to get right up in there. Get in the grundle of that boy. Alright. No, so we got some sections we have to work on still. So we're going to go into the pot again. Remove some of the excess. Beautiful. Alright. This little section right here. I can use some love. Beautiful. Perfect. There we go. Get these boys right there. There you go, buddies. Okay. Alright, there we go. He's vibrating so much. Is this what you call a restless spirit? Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's a good joke. Very funny. Very funny, me. It was a good joke. I'm joking. I'm not being depressed on myself. I'm a treasure after all. Good old self-aggrandizement. That's why I don't like big band yet. See, yeah, I'm going back to that joke again. Repetition, blah, blah, blah. Okay, sick. Alright, yeah. Let's get all up in there. Get all up in there, boy. Little stream of consciousness stuff going on right here. Okay. Alright. Yeah, his underside needs some love too. Actually, so do these guys. Okay. So, taking a look at this, what parts of the ghost stuff are we missing? Not so much the base itself. That's something I'm going to work on next. What are the ghost parts looking like? We got too much right there. Too much of a pool. And this little bit right there, it looks like. Move this around, get that right there. Oh, yeah, there we go. There's a section deep in there. Yeah, get that right there. Beautiful. Beautiful. Put this around. Okay. Let's take a look at this guy a little bit more thoroughly. Yep, right there. And fortunately, there's actually a little bit of a section right there that was pulling up a little bit, so we just dragged that sucker right on over. Called that a day. Heck yeah. Alright. So, that's looking good. That's looking good. Oh, a little spits right there. Spit, spigot, spot. Yeah, spit. A little spit right there. Move that around. Move that around. Okay. What other parts are looking like a little not super great right now? How's the inside looking? Oh, yeah, but we can afford to get in there. Yeah, a little bit of a lighter touch in there. I don't have as much pigment on there, but that's actually kind of nice. That is working out to our advantage. Mm-hmm. There we go, because now we're getting a lot more of like a hint of that being there. Sick. Yeah? Yeah, okay. Okay. Alright, let's go ahead and close this down. We're going to shake it up again just to make sure all the pigment's around. We're going to just keep shaking that brush. Oh, you know what? I think I need to be a little bit more forceful with this because there's actually a lot of the kind of chalky, like, texture adherent to the ferrule there. We don't want that. I mean, it is a shade brush, so it can take a beating, but we shouldn't make it take a beating if it doesn't need to. Okay, nice. There we go. Alright. Let's give it a good old shaky, 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 shake, shake, shake. Crack that sucker open again. And now this time, we're going to be working on the base itself. There's tons of Wraithbone I'm seeing slinking in through there, through all the Celestial Gray. But again, that is fine. We're going to say that it's intentionally like that for variance. Alright. Yeah, there we go. Get that sucker all up in there. Oh man, yeah, that's just a lot of surface area right there. Yeah, I'm still losing chunks of texture even doing this. Oof. Perhaps my great scheme was in fact a mistake. Maybe I am not the genius I thought I was. Am I a fool? A buffoon? For having dreamed so ambitiously? Perhaps. I mean, truly worst case scenario, if this doesn't work out the way that I wanted to and it looks like trash, I can always just take the back of an X-Acto knife and scrape it off, and then just do a very typical kind of base over it. Okay. Yeah, I'm starting to get a bit of a blue tint in there, but there's a lot of the specks of the texture that are breaking off right now. Yeah, I could have just been really too ambitious with this. That, or not loading it up enough. That could also be it. So let's go ahead and try it on this side right here. We're just gonna drown this sucker and see what happens. Okay. Go all one direction. Soak up some of the excess over here. I'm much more okay about having like just too much being in this section over here, because the details are extremely broad. There's not a whole lot of really fine details in this area. So them getting clogged, there we go, clogged up is not nearly as much of a concern as it is in the model proper. Let's go ahead and just dab it somewhere right there. I mean, did it? Yeah, it's happening again. It is happening again. Happy birthday. What are you, 90? Why, yes, I am. I'm very old now. I've had so many birthdays in the past 2 hours. Oh, no. How could I possibly ever get used to being this old? Don't have to worry about it for too much longer, Gramps, because soon you'll be dead. Oh, yes. But if I put my brain in a computer, then I can live forever. I suppose theoretically that could be possible. The medical science hasn't really got to that point though yet, Gramps. Oh, you foolish young Billy. Grandpa's been working with the Illuminati this entire time. I've unlocked the secret sciences of digitizing my brain. Okay, but Grandpa, why would you even do that? I mean, I understand why you don't want to die. No, you sorry fool. It's not merely just to maintain my immortality, but to ascend beyond such a state. I will soon rule all my Illuminati masters, and my computer brain will scan the internet for any talk of wrongdoing or incorrect sort of thinky thoughts, and those perpetrating that crime will be punished extensively. Yeah, Grandpa, you're gonna do it. You're definitely gonna become part of the computer Illuminati and have thought crimes become a thing. Yes, you keep talking to me like that, you little shit, and I'll get you when my brain becomes the internet. I understand, Grandpa. I'm very scared of you. Very scared of you. Walk outside. Excuse me, orderly? Yes, sir. My grandpa's been rambling about the computer Illuminati. What's up with that? And now where we're at right now with this bit, everybody, is we have two directions we can go. Number one, we can double down on Grandpa being crazy. Or, number two, the more interesting direction. Oh, no, he's just a little bit crazy. Forgot to take his pills. We'll make sure he takes them next time. Oh, thank you, Early. You have a good day, okay? You too, sir. Illuminati Master Command. The grandson knows. Ba-bum, bum, ba-bum. See, that's the bit. The orderly's in on it, too. Why? Well, when Grandpa takes over the entire world of his internet brain, Orderly's going to be in a nice, sweet position. If you oppose that kind of megalovania, when you oppose that kind of thing, then all of a sudden, you get put on the list. But if you support it, then you, my friend, will be brought to a world of plenty, filled to the brim with chicken nuggets, I guess. Whatever you're into, man, whatever. Grandpa Brain Illuminati will do just fine, help you out, set you up. I mean, after all, you helped him out, right? He wouldn't betray you, would he? Would he? Asking for a friend. Okay, so what do we got so far? We've been working on the space for a bit. We've been getting a lot of the neoloc oxide around, and what is the takeaway I'm getting from this after kind of saturating this stuff? After kind of working on this for a good fat minute, I will say I'm like not super sold on it. Yeah, I don't know. It's not really. Let's go ahead and get the water cup ASMR thing going on again. Yeah, there we go. Oh yeah. Yeah, anyways, not super sold on it, honestly. Like, not exactly a huge shock, but it basically just looks like the exact same thing. Alright. I don't know what the better bet is right now. Is either change the music to something else, or keep this madness going for the sake of the bit. Let's take a look. Yeah, you know what? Nah, we're gonna. Okay, let's do this. Let's not constantly have. Yeah, let's not constantly have that going down. Because, wow, that got annoying. Like, I know there was like a joke I was doing with that entire situation where I was like, haha, boy howdy, repetition. Remember that gag that happened? Boy howdy, that was like 30 minutes ago. Maybe more? Yeah, anyways. That got annoying. Birthday song also got annoying. We don't need 9 different versions. Or maybe they were the same version? Man, whatever. We're done with that. Speaking of being done with stuff, looking at this, I'm like not super sold on it. It is excruciatingly boring. Like, the ghost stuff, I think that looks fine. Like, all the ghost stuff, that seems totally okay to me. Because it's going to be contrasted with a really dark robe. You know what? Let's do this. Instead of me getting all inattentive on the base itself, let's work on the robe a little bit. Let's add, like, a nice dark color to all this. Use that to kind of contrast. Let's see what everything looks like when we do that. So, for the robe color itself, we're going to be using Inky by Darkness. Yay! It's a very dark green. There we go. Burp number 2, everybody. Oh, crap. Oh no. Everything's falling apart. Oh boy. Never mind. Just my brush rolling on the ground. Okay. Like, already, this is so much better than the last one. It was just so much birthday song, man. Alright. We are gonna give this bottle a good old shake. Shaky, shaky, shake, shake. Okay. With that, we're gonna scoop out some of the Inky by Darkness. Apply it right there. Okay. And actually, let's get a little bit more. Alright. Sick. Perfect. Alrighty. Okay. Yep. Now we're going to go ahead and apply this to the robe. That's okay. If we get it on the scabbard and the belt, that's totally fine. Because that is stuff we are going to base coat with something else later on down the road. And we're going to cover it up. Good piece of advice that I've heard in the past is work on the messy stuff first, and then progressively work on the stuff that you need to be neat about later on down the road. That is definitely the way to go about it. Makes sense too if you think about it. So, all the better for it. Heck yeah. Now, as this is coming along right now, I am noticing a good amount of streakiness in the paint, but that is okay. That just means that the paint is nice and thin, and we're gonna have to do 2 thin coats. Yeah, let's get that sucker in there. There you go, little buddy. Yeah, I think what I want to do too, just kind of going through this so far, is I want to get a much more top-down perspective. As it stands right now, it's actually a bit more of an angle. Like this right here, it's just me moving my fingers up and down. But definitely did not look like that. It looked like it was kind of moving a little bit forward. Or is it backwards? Whatever. 3 dimensions are obnoxious and annoying. Yeah, anyways, rambling, right. That's what I was doing, was rambling. Yeah, so the reason why I'm talking about doing this in a top-down perspective is that currently, right now, I actually have to have the model much more forward than where it would be normally. Look at that green. So, I'm actually painting a good distance further away than where it would be normally. So it's a little bit more difficult, and beyond all that, I also don't have a good secure place to kind of hold onto this bad boy and keep him steady. Yeah, I'm gonna need to work on the camera angle. That's okay though. This is a learning experience. That's what's important here. You know what I'm thinking? Is the paint actually thinned down enough? Let's see. I think it actually was, and I just applied more water to it when I didn't need to. What's this looking like? Ooh, yeah. No, that's not good. Yeah, what we got going on right here? Yeah, now I'm just disturbing the pigment that I just laid down before. Oh no. Oh no, that's not good. Oh no. Yeah, I also need to start working on the precursor to doing the fade, because what we're going to do is we're going to have a nice dark color here on the rope, and then as it gets towards this kind of, actually let's go for this section over here. This is a much better shot to kind of explain it. So we got a lot of this darker green right here, and then it's going to move into this lighter section right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to draw a zigzag pattern with a better detail brush, probably the round right here, which is frayed out a little bit. I just need to get into one of these bad boys. So we're gonna draw a zigzag pattern. That way we're gonna hit it with a lot of washes to kind of help soften that transition between those two colors. That way it looks like it's gonna go from like this kind of eerie bluish teal kind of look to a much more darker color. And then eventually we're gonna go up a little bit more towards the top. We're gonna hit the top section of the robes here with a black wash Nuln Oil. Hit that a couple of times, that way it really darkens it down. So we have like kind of this teal color, and then as it's coming up, it's gonna get darker and darker and darker, and then bam. And that's where we include the torso. Yeah, still there. Alright. As it stands for right now though, I'm thinking, since I need to work on the audio, or not the audio setup, the audio setup I think is fine, but we need to work on the visual setup. This little critter being at this angle like this is kind of awkward for me. I need to find a way to put it where it's right on top. And I do not have an apparatus that's good for that. I do have a cardboard box I can use, but then I would interfere with the lighting as well, and that would just suck. I don't want to do that. That'd be obnoxious. So instead, I think hit about the 2-hour mark right now, and that's pretty good. We beated about stupid shenanigans and lost our mind temporarily a couple of times. Happy birthday to you. So, I think for right now, this is a decent spot for us to call it for tonight. Not to worry though, we'll do more of these in the future. That way, you can see me fail at painting a miniature. See, self-deprecation, that makes me seem a lot more humble and approachable. But also, I can make a bunch of stupid hot takes and gags. Like, Did I ever tell you what the definition of insanity is? There we go. That was the joke. Because repetition over and over again and definition of insanity. Yeah, it's good. It's good, smart joke. Good, smart, clever joke. Oh boy. Yeah. Anyways, everyone, have yourselves a good night, good week. Enjoy tomorrow. Enjoy the next week. Stay safe. Keep dreaming. Take it easy. Bye-bye. I should have said a better wave in there. Bye. 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 Bye.